Tell me more.
Well,
let's clarify this so we all understand.
The thoughts, the thinking starts thinking. But the thinking is not the person. It's only the brain. It's a personal computer that people have, and we call it the brain. And it operates out of the information that it has gathered over the years, since childhood.
All right, we accept that.
So now, all that information compiled and collated, a certain condition comes up, that information is collated, and then the person acts on that information, you see. Now, when the person is centered, he doesn't act on any information because you've gotten rid of the information. You see, a person, as they're centered, then begin a process of letting go of the information they've gathered. Now, in my own case, the college information, the information that I learned in a lot of things, is still there, but it doesn't govern my actions.
That was my next question. The information obviously is still in your computer bank, but
yes,
you just keep it in the bank and use it when you feel it is proper.
Correct.
Whereas before you were saying it was on the off-center kilter, it would just randomly, apparently, take that bit of information and perhaps...
and operate my life with it.
I see.
You see?
In an off-center manner.
In an off-center manner.
A not successful type of life.
No, because in that sense, I would do things that may have been fine for the person I had learned it from. However, it was not the same condition in my life. I was in a different place. So therefore, it could not work. It might appear to work for a short period of time, but it was destined to fall apart, you see, and it did fall apart. And these are the things, because I had lots of good information. However, the information would disintegrate, and whatever I did would disintegrate with it. Now, today, in being centered, whatever I do go into remains. And whatever I do remains. And it remains, and it remains, and it doesn't fall apart.
Give me an example of how you've helped someone, and tell me their problem and how you solved it for them.
Okay. People that have been off their center, say a housewife at home, in a relationship with her husband, let's say. He has his ideas, she has her ideas, and the typical thing we find is that people trying to change each other, okay? A boy meets girl, he's like a half an apple, and she's like a half an apple, and when they get together, they feel, oh, just wonderful, because they feel that togetherness. Now, in time, you see, she was thinking about what he was like, and he was thinking about what she was like, and this thinking is what brought them together. Later on, they begin to awaken to the fact, well, what am I doing with him, or what am I doing with her?
Perfection is not there.
Right, you see, and then the real person starts coming out because this other thing that they developed is disintegrating.
The dream image.
The dream is falling apart, you see. And many people go into things and into living, into businesses, into all kinds of things through that dream state, from that information. And it isn't the reality. See? As a person becomes centered, then they're living the reality, and what they do get into becomes a realization. Then it's materialized out there, and it's fine.
What do you tell people or advise them to do when they realize they must have a necessary change in their lives?
Well, the first thing is for them to see what they have done with themselves and look to the fact that there are some things that they're going to have to let go of, okay? In other words, the dreams that they have, they need to come into doing what they do need to do and not what they think they need to do. You see? And as the person begins to do what he needs to do, he begins to arrive at the realizations, and he can see the mistakes that he otherwise would have made. He can begin to see that there's a why in the road, in living. So as he stays centered and he does this, he begins to see that he's not following his old process, and therefore the old karmic patterns that he's had do not exist anymore. He does not have to fall into the same traps over and over and over again.
You mainly deal with the present. Does that mean the past and the future have no relevance to you?
Well, you see, the first thing is that the now is what we do have, because it's the presence of now. Now, when you want to regain the past, you have to go into thought to get it. If you want to look into the future, you have to project, again, with your own thought process. Now, the thought process is not the now. So if you want to deal with the past, you have to go into your information center up here to get the past, and if you want to project the future, then you have to go to your information again center, this center up here, to project it, you see. But neither one of the two are reality. Neither one of the two are the reality. Now, in living in the reality now, and when that's over, it's now, and when it's over, it's now, forever, it's now. When a person stays in that now, they are completely successful because they have not opened themselves to chance.
Now, you realize many of our viewers might find this a bit confusing at the outset here as we discuss, and in 15 minutes we can't give
cover it all.
An entire life counseling service, but many people are starting to realize that they are off focus, off center,
yes,
and they need help, literal help, or what might happen to them.
Well, the thing is that they will end up being in the newspapers. They'll end up being in some insane asylum or in some institution, or be destitute at the end of their life because they will continue to make mistakes. You see, they are aware that there's something wrong. The thing is, you can't fix what's wrong. You have to let go of what's wrong and start all over again. Let go of what's wrong. Don't try and fix it. Because if it's wrong to begin with and you fix it, it's still wrong. Fixed, wrong. But it's still wrong, you see. The person needs to stay in their center and then live from there. So it's a process, and by talking, which is what I do with people, we talk and the person is able to center, and they're able then to begin to experience their own feeling, that wholeness that they are, and from that wholeness then they're able to deal with whatever it is that they individually need to deal with. Each person is entirely different from another. The input that they've had is entirely different one from another. There may be similarities, but the same thing cannot apply to everyone. Everyone is an original. And so it's the thing of having this communication, and as a person then begins to feel that person that they really are, then comes the support systems to support that person and not who they think they are. So that the person that they physically are, that they were born being to begin with, that intuitive self, okay, that person then becomes the whole person, physically. And they're able to allow the thoughts and the way the thoughts have governed their life to go and to let go of it, to let go of it, to let go of it, until they make that transition back to their own self. And their life in the process, and it begins immediately, the immediate change begins to happen. And as the person changes from here to here, let's say, everything out there changes. It's almost like how faith moves mountains, you see. You go from thought, instead of trying to figure out life through thought, you go into your intuitive self, and then as you operate from that intuitive self and you look around, you find that people, places, and things have changed. And you physically haven't done anything to change them, except that you've changed your own perception. And as you change your perception, everything that you see out there changes. It's remarkable.
Indeed, success can be achieved in this manner by simply talking it out.
Absolutely. Just like you took it in, you can give it away. You can get rid of it. It's wonderful.
Al, we'll take a mini break right now and come right back and talk about some of the elements of your sloganeer aspect. You have some slogans that are quite provocative, and let's find out more about that. Please join us. We'll take a short break and be right back with Dr. Al Mejia.